to have you on International Tit-Bits on Atlantic Television Network. This is a show where we bring you news, events, and stories from across the world. Here we ensure that the real on-time news are packaged for the viewing pleasure of the people. And on today's International Tit-Bits, I'll be doing it with Valentina Lawrence.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Let's go straight to our headlines for today. From Ghana, protests rock Accra and crisis for political economic change. From Niger Republic, France to withdraw military ambassador by end of 2023. From Niger Republic again, junta bans French aircraft, Air France from countries' airspace.
From UNGA, Blinken suggests India-Canada cooperation over leader skilling Middle East Asia. From Palestine, Israeli Defense Forces kill 2 resistant members during raid. From Iran, President Raisi defends his country's weapon-grade uranium enrichment.
There's so many more stories we'll be looking at when we return from this short.
Honorables, you on the point of order. Honorables, they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds. I am in the bed.
Wait. The police initial response with force on September 25th, arresting over 50 protesters, including journalists, led President Akufo-Addo and the Ghanaian Police Service. But be told that anytime anyone resists peaceful change, violence change would occupy. We don't want to engage in violence, but if they push us to the wall, we will have no option. Political activist Bernard Mohan said the protest has it rooted in a fake
Embassy in Niger says
elected President Mohamed Bazoum, who had been overthrown in a coup on July 26. France has repeatedly supported the West African bloc, and relations between the Paris and the Niamey has been at an all-time low since the coup.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has called on India to cooperate with Canada and ensure accountability over the killing of Sikh separatists after Ottawa accused Delhi of involvement. Blinken said the movement, which seeks an independent homeland for Sikhs in India Punjab region. India had previously alleged Nijal was part of a plan to murder a Hindu priest in Punjab, offering a bounty of nearly $12,000, 9,688 years. Trudeau told Parliament any involvement of a foreign government in the killing of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil is an unacceptable violation of our sovereignty. Canada is a rule of law country. The protection of our citizens and defense of our sovereignty are fundamental. The Foreign Affairs Minister, Melanie Joly, said Canada had expelled a key Indian diplomat and expects India to fully collaborate with us and ultimately to get to the bottom of this. India's Ministry of External Affairs said in a statement it rejected statements by Trudeau and Joly, adding that allegations of India's involvement in any act of violence in Canada are absurd and motivated. We are a democratic polity with a strong commitment to rule of law, the statement read. Trudeau on Thursday called on India to cooperate on the investigation. In response, India reduced its diplomatic staff and stopped visa services. India and Canada
were killed in an early hour of Sunday during an incursion by the Israel Defense Force in the New Sham refugee camp near Taram in occupied West Bank, Palestinian officials said. Palestinian official named them as Farhan Abu Lee 21 and Abdullah Raham Solomon Abu Dakash 32. The Palestinian Ministry of the Health said both died after being shot in the head. Abu Dakash was in a home when he was shot by the Israeli Simpa, according to the Taha Iran, the head of the Popular Resilience Committee in a camp. He said it was the third Israeli raid on the camp this year, damaging electricity and water service.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has defended his country's enrichment of uranium to near weapons-grade levels, claiming it was a response to European states not living up to their end of the 2015 nuclear agreement. In the beginning, we were not seeking 60% levels of enrichment. The European state trampled upon their commitment, Raisi told correspondents in New York on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly this week. While the Islamic Republic of Iran
in a joint operation by the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the Central Reserve Police Force, a terror model was busted in Jammu and Kashmir Morgan district with the arrest of 5 terrorists of Kashkar Taliban terror outfit, an official statement said on Sunday. A huge quantity of arms and ammunition, including 2 petrol through hand credits on the UBGL. The statement, the state's terrorists were identified as Adi Asani Wani
camps. At the time of her arrest in December 2017, Dawood was teaching at Xinjiang University Colleges of Humanities, where she also founded the Ethnic Minorities Research Center in 2007. In addition to her sentence, Dawood will be deprived of political rights for life, Duri Hua said. The many academic institutions which Dawood is associated through her work, including the universities of Harvard, Cornell, British Columbia, Pennsylvania, Washington, Indiana, and Cambridge, have joined the appeal urging Chinese authorities to release her. In a statement through Duri Hua, Dawood's daughter, Akeda Pulati, called on the Chinese government to free her mother. I worry about my mother every single day. The thought of my innocent mother having to spend her life in prison brings unbearable pain. Trying to show your mercy and release my innocent mother, she said.
The Philippines on Sunday condemned the Chinese Coast Guard for installing what is called a floating bar in a disputed area of the South China Sea, saying that it prevented Filipino boats from entering the fishing in the area. In a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Jata Rila said the floating barrel was discovered by the Philippine vessels during the route maritime patrol on Friday and measured around 300 meters. Terila shared photo of the alleged floating barrel and claimed 3 Chinese Coast Guard boats and the Chinese Maritime Militia Service Board has installed the floating barrel. following the arrival of the Philippine government vessel in the area. The Philippine Coast Guard shared footage earlier this
year in recent years.
A standoff between police and 30 armed men in northern Coast Gulf and underway Sunday, just hours after an ambush incident left one police officer dead and another injured. Police say they killed 3 and they as yet identified attackers and arrested another. The group are reportedly held up in a monastery. We see uniformed people, heavy weapon. They are shooting at us. We are shooting, said Betom Ejesani, Deputy Commander of the Coast Guard Police for the North Region, according to the correspondent. In their most recent statement on Facebook, Coast Guard Police say the security situation in the Banjaka village area continues to remain tense as attack and firemen against police units are continuing with the same intensity. The incident is a serious escalation in the region area prone to unrest. Coast Guard is a majority Albanian, but like other villages in the north, Bajis is predominantly Serbian. Coast Guard declared independence from Serbia in 2008, but Serbia sees Coast Guard as a breakaway state, Kosovo and Pristina. Overnight Saturday into Sunday, a border police unit noticed 2 heavy trucks without license plates blocking the entrance to the bridge in the Banjas car. According to one police unit were deployed to the area. When police officers arrived at the scene, they encountered resistance, shoot or fire, and during the exchange of one police officer was killed and another was injured. According to Coast police said, they were shot at with an arsenal of firemen, including armed grenade and stun gun. Coast Prime Minister Albin Kuti described the shooting in the village of Banjaska as a terror attack conducted by what he said were Serbian criminal gangs.
Agreed to surrender and lay down their arms. The truce apparently marked the end of the conflict that has raged on and off for 3 decades. Although intentionally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, the landlocked mountainous region is home to 120,000 ethnic Armenians who make up the majority of the population and have created their own de facto government rejecting Azerbaijani rule. Azerbaijan said it will guarantee the rights of those living in the region, but Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and international experts have repeatedly warned the risk of ethnic cleansing of Armenians in the enclave.
Armenian Prime Minister has called his country's security relations effective. It's a swab at Russia after Azerbaijan claimed that the breakaway province of Nagorno-Karabakh followed a swift military campaign. Armenian is part of a collective security threat organization, a Russian-dominated dominance group for 6 post-Soviet states that, similar to NATO, required members to come to each other's aid when under attack. For this week, Azerbaijan forced the surrender of ethnic Azerbaijan fight in Nagorno-Karabakh, seemingly bringing to an end the conflict that has seemingly for decades, arising the question whether Armenia could rely on long-term ally Russia. Armenia has never refused from its ally obligation. They has ever betrayed its allies. Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said, according to the Armenian's public radio, going on to say that recent events has exposed the country's vulnerabilities. Pashinyan has previously criticized Russia for failing to inform him of Albania's plan, while some Russian commentators have mocked the Prime Minister for being unable to protect ethnic Albanians beyond its border. Azerbaijan brave offense ended in a Russian broken ceasefire in which separatist Armenian fighters agreed to surrender and lay down their arms. At least 200 people, military operation officials said.
Italian mafia boss Matteo Messina Denaro, who was one of the country's most wanted men until his capture earlier this year, has died. The 61-year-old was thought to be a boss of the notorious Cosa Nostra mafia and spent 30 years on the run before he was detained in January. He was being treated for cancer at the time of his arrest and was moved from prison to hospital last month. Denaro was thought to have been responsible for numerous murders. He was tried and sentenced to life in jail in absentia in 2002 for crimes including involvement in the 1992 killing of anti-mafia prosecutors Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, and once boasted he could fill a cemetery with his victims. He also oversaw racketeering, illegal waste dumping, money laundering, and drug trafficking for the Cosa Nostra organized crime syndicate. Although he had been a fugitive since 1993, Monsignor Denaro was thought to have still been issuing orders to his subordinates from various secret locations. According to local media, he fell into an irreversible coma on Friday at a hospital in the central Italian city of L'Aquila, after requesting that he be given no-aggressive medical treatment. He had undergone surgery in recent months for issues to do with his cancer, but had reportedly not recovered following the latest operation. L'Aquila Mayor Pierluigi Biondi confirmed Denaro's death, writing on X, formerly Twitter, that it was the epilogue of an existence lived without remorse or regret, a painful chapter in recent history that we cannot erase. Alongside his crimes, Denaro was thought to be Cosa Nostra's last secret keeper. Many informers and prosecutors believe he held all the information on the names of those involved in several of the most high-profile crimes by the mafia. More than 100 members of the armed forces were involved in his arrest in January, which happened at a private clinic in Sicily's capital, Palermo, where he was receiving chemotherapy. For years, he had been a symbol of the state's inability to reach the upper echelons of the organized crime syndicates. Italian investigators often came close to catching Denaro by monitoring those closest to him. This resulted in the arrest of his sister, Patrizia, and several of his associates in 2013. Police also seized valuable businesses linked to him, leaving him increasingly isolated. However, few photos of him existed, and police had to rely on digital composites to reconstruct his appearance in the decades after he went on the run. A recording of his voice was not released until 2021. In September 2021, a Formula One fan from Liverpool was arrested at gunpoint in a restaurant in the Netherlands after being mistaken for Denaro.
Tens of thousands of Spanish red protests in Madrid on Sunday against possible plan by acting Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez to grant an amnesty to Catalan separatists to keep himself in office after the in election in July could stay in office if he could win the support of exiled former Catalonia leaders Carles Puigdemont, amongst whose don't pay Catalan party control 7 seats in parliament. Puigdemont wants a Spain for attempting the region's association. He demands that legal action be dropped against fellow separatists as a condition for the support. Alberto Nole Jr., leader of the PP, which won the most votes on July 23rd, said they would never conceal the demand for the amnesty for the organizers of the 2017 independence referendum in Catalonia, which would need, despite counts ruling it was illegal. Withdrawing criminal cases against the separatists would amount to granting the amnesty to co-plotters, he told supporters at the Madrid rally. Snitch held its own political rally in Gava, near Catalonia's regional capital, Barcelona, on Sunday. He did not mention an amnesty, but did the Socialists wanted to halt social division over the Catalan crisis. We are trying to turn the page, he told supporters in 2021. Sánchez granted pardon to 9 separatists jailed over 3 roles in independence putsch. Jaro will take the first step at the vote to become Prime Minister on September 27. If Jalion fails, Sánchez will get a chance to see if he can muster support.
A man has died and his friend has been injured during a bull running festival in Eastern Spain, authorities say. The man, 61, was gored in his side during the event in the town of Pobla de Fanals in the Valencia region on Saturday. He underwent emergency surgery but died on Sunday. His friend, 63, was attacked in both legs by the same bull and is in a stable condition in the hospital. Deaths and injury during bull running festivals in Spain are not uncommon. There are hundreds of such events in which bulls are released on city streets with people running ahead of them across Spain every year. Animal rights groups have long complained of the dangers of the public as well as the animals, but the annual events remain popular. The bull running season provides a much-needed boost to Valencia's economy. A 2019 study found that it created more than 3,000 jobs and brought in 300 million euros with almost 10,000.
A 25-year-old woman in UK nearly lost her vision after she developed a nuclear on her eyes, correspondent reported. According to the doctor, the nuclear was caused by her contact lenses. Notably, Stephen Caruso was suffering itchiness in her eyes, following which was consulted on eye doctor. She simply thought she was having such irritation from daily contact use. However, a problem turned out to be much more serious as the doctor told her she has aggregation bacteria in the eyes, which was caused the nuclear on the cornea. Optimistic that refer her to separatist eye to specialist eye hospital. She spent 2 weeks in the hospital with 72 drops of antibiotics administered to her eyes daily in an effort to reduce the nuclear. Ms. Caruso said, by the time I was admitted into the hospital, I could barely see. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. Thankfully, Jack and Tim were outstanding. He made sure I didn't leave the space cover store until he had arranged plan with the hospital and keep the reassured during an incredibly stressed time. It was quick thinking and thorough. I couldn't be more grateful. Despite the daily course of antibiotics, the nuclear did not heal, leaving the medical staff no choice to put the perform on the corneal transplant. 3 weeks on, her vision was improved and it was hoped it will return to fully by October, allowing her to go back to work. She said, I was told by the medical staff at the hospital that bacteria in my eye was so harsh that if it had been left any longer, I would have lost my eyes completely. According to the Cleveland Clinic, corneal nuclei are usually caused by the infection of several dry eye, but those who wear contact lenses may be particularly at risk if they don't clean their eye drop. Several cases can lead to permanent sight loss through scanning. Optometrist Jack Benton, an initial trade as Caruso, spoke about the importance of having a sight test every 2 years and consulting an optometrist immediately, even if people have any comment about their eyes or vision. Unfortunately, Steve is already on the road of recovery and hope her vision will be back to normal within a month. But the story is case says in point of why a rap medical assistant is crucial, he noted. This is International Tit-Bits on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break.
illegally. That is amazing. Honorables, you
on the point of order.
Honorables, you
On the point.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds. I am the best.
With the EU, but
Welcome back. This is International Tit-Bits on Atlantic Television Network. And in this conversation today, I have with me public international affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, this one is coming from Niger Republic. Let's look at what the story has to say. Niger's military role has banned French aircraft from flying over the country's airspace, according to the Agency for the Safety of Air Navigation in Africa and Madagascar website. Niger's airspace is open to all national and international commercial flights except for French aircraft or aircrafts chartered by the French, including those of the airline Air France. It said in a statement dated last Saturday, the airspace will remain closed for all military operationals and other special flights unless receiving prior authorization, the message said. Air France told correspondents simply that it was not flying over Niger airspace. Niger has reopened its airspace on September 4th for commercial flights after having been closed for nearly a month. The West African nation has announced on August 6 it was closing its airspace due to the threat of intervention from the neighboring countries as the economic communities of West African states threaten military action to restore the elected president Mohamed Bazoum, who has been overthrown in a coup on July. France has repeatedly supported the West African bloc, and relations between Paris and Niamey have been at all-time low since the coup. It is no longer news like President Mohamed Bazoum has been overthrown from the throne since July 26, and of course it has been issues having problem with France, and Niger has been having a serious aid-up. And they have gone extra mile to ban their airspace for any aircrafts coming from France not to penetrate their country. And I'm asking, is this the best way to handle a crisis? Is this the best way to handle issues? Because you can't, I mean, we are actually looking for how to cope this crisis in the community to bring peace, but it seems the problem is not coming to an end anytime soon. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, France has not had very good relationship with its former colonies in Africa. All Francophone countries have been bereft of full control of their resources, and it has led to the infiltration of Russia into those Francophone countries, and Russia has been able to spur those countries to kick out France, and France has not responded in a very diplomatic manner. I think the French president has said that they are going to pull out the military and even the ambassador by the end of 2023 this year. So I think France has a lot to do with its diplomatic relations as concerns the former French colonies, the Francophone countries in Africa. One of them is also reviewing the aspect of the CFA, the CFA, having to print an independent country's currency in Paris. It doesn't make sense. They should have full financial autonomy over their financial matters. And also, with the intrusion of Wagner the Russian military into Central Africa and also in Niger, it will be very, very difficult for France to get back the kind of trust that they had in these places, because Russia is already making things a bit easier for these countries, providing them security and also providing them stability.
Talking about French government will soon withdraw their ambassador from Niger. I mean, these are the people that they actually protested because they want a French ambassador to leave their country. And you're talking about them withdrawing their people. Do you think this will have any way to affecting their economy, security, or what so have you? I mean, this is what I have been singing about. This is what I've looked onto. This is what we have protested against for, that the French ambassador should leave our country. And you're telling me that their government is coming to take them away. Do you think it will have any way of affecting them? Don't you think they will sing to victory, like what we have wanted has finally come to pass?
I think it will be for the better for all Francophone countries to ditch France. I speak it again, it will be to the benefit of all Francophone countries in Africa to ditch France. France has not done anything for any African country. They have only stagnated the African countries, made them as poor as they can be, made them very wretched, made them very dependent on Paris, even for food, even for drink, even for foodstuff. It's a pathetic situation. So I am not surprised with the stance of Niger Republic concerning kicking out France, including the ambassador to Niger from France. So I think what they have to do is to develop a new monetary policy and also strengthen their economy, strengthen their security. Of course, I know that Russia is there. Russia is only there for the natural resources. When they get the natural resources, if it's exhausted, like maybe in the case of Niger, you have uranium, which is also a contributing factor and ingredient for the atomic bomb. So I think France is there, Russia is there because of the natural resources and also providing security. But France has not been beneficial in any way.
But now that France, they know that them being in Niger, not just they because they want to be there. Of course, they're benefiting that day because of what they want to benefit. And Niger is already putting up all of this. Do you think they will still want to go ahead to withdraw their citizens from Niger? Because I believe if they wanted to do this, they would have carried this out since when Niger started protesting that they should leave. You know, them staying now is as the command of Bazoum. So do you think they will still go ahead to withdraw their ambassadors from there when they stand to lose a whole lot if they do that?
Yeah, they stand to lose a lot. I mean, and as a reminder to France to pull out of Niger, the regime, the junta has already banned all French aircraft, not just Air France, all French aircraft, including private flights, including privately owned aircraft, so far as it's registered under the French flag. is banned in Niger Republic airspace. And that's a move to show that the statement made by President Macron of France that by the end of 2023, they are going to pull out completely from Niger Republic is going to be true. So I see it as a countdown. It's a countdown from now to the end of December. They are going to pull out all their resources from Niger. And I am also encouraging other Francophone African countries to also kick out France. France has been a plague. France has been a boil. It's like a tumor that cannot just leave them alone. And this is the chance for them to reorganize themselves and head off for the next future.
Anyway, since Macron has already made up his mind that by in a year or years to come, they are going to pull everything that they have in other countries, especially Niger, to their own countries. Let's see how it goes. If it's going to affect them, or if it's going to affect Niger, we do not know yet till that time. There's so much we can take on today's International Tidbit. Thank you for joining us, the viewers. And thank you, Mr. Raymond.
Thank you for having me.
Joining me. I am Immaculata Jacob Erikana. If you miss out in any of the stories, you can join us on our social media platforms. Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic TV Network, Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, or you can watch us live on our website at atlanticnetwork.tv. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. See you next time.